Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Horror Convos. A little update on some changes that are coming to the way this channel works. I had to do a little reevaluation of what exactly I want out of this podcast and what the point is of how I'm trying to go about building up an audience for it. And I realized that I think I've been going about this the wrong way. I've been focused so much on, since I started this, I focused so much on building up content, just video after video, that some of the episodes I feel have been suffering in quality because I was focused more on just getting them out on time in accordance with the release schedule than I was on actually having something to say. See, the thing is, part of why I hesitated to start doing a podcast for so long was because, well, for one, I wasn't sure that anybody would really care to listen to me. Because I don't consider many of my takes on horror or things in general to be all that unique. I've listened to so many horror podcasts to try and draw inspiration for my own show. And part of what I found is that the most successful podcasts, at least from my research, they don't tend to be the ones that, stick to a schedule so rigidly and they just go week by week by week or even bi-weekly. The most successful podcasts, just in general, tend to be the ones that put out quality content with a consistent focus on quality over quantity. They do try to be consistent with releasing new stuff, but they don't prioritize that to the point that just putting something out at all is the goal before a deadline. And part of my problem with why some of these recent episodes, especially the ones that I've done by myself, those are the ones I'm really talking about. When I don't have someone on to record with me, it kind of feels like I'm putting twice as much pressure on myself to make something entertaining, because I want to respect your time, those of you who listen in. I want to make something that you would want to listen to, something that if I can't even find entertainment value listening to it myself, then I can't really expect others to find entertainment value in it anyway. It's just one of the worst things that can happen to any podcaster, as I've learned, is when they start feeling like it's becoming mechanical, like the creative passion just isn't there. And it's not that I'm tired of talking about horror, or, I'm a lifelong horror fan. I love talking about it. I just feel like I'm getting a little burnt out on trying to come up with something new and interesting to talk about every 2 weeks. Some people listening might be like, well, that's 2 weeks. That's only 2 podcasts a month. That gives you a lot of time to think, but with all due respect, that's easy to say, and it certainly would be more than enough time if the podcast was all I had to focus on. But as I've said before, this show is not my job. It's not my main source of productivity or income. It's more of a hobby. And I never anticipated to make it like my main source of income to begin with, because to be frank, most podcasts in general don't make that much money. Even if you're good at them, you have to either be extremely good or extremely lucky and have just the right team behind you to be able to make a living just doing podcasting. And off the top of my head, I can't really think of, the only person I can think of who maybe is that successful at it to where that's their main income is, I don't know, Joe Rogan. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't listen to Joe Rogan regularly. I don't know exactly what all the facets of his career are. I know he worked on Fear Factor and worked with wrestling and commentary before that. It's it. But with me personally, it's just between my work and my family and recent things that I'm trying to help out with, around the house, especially. My family and I are all kind of scattered doing our own things right now. It's just, there hasn't been as much time for me to think about, well, what do I want to talk about this next episode? What do I have a passionate opinion about that's really stirring my creative juices? And I just feel like I got to record this. I got to put this out there, because it's not that I don't enjoy doing this anymore. Like, Horror Convos is not ending anytime soon. Like, I want to continue doing this, but I feel like for the sake of making a show that is worthy of your time, as well as my effort, I need to take a little bit more time in between releasing new episodes to just kind of focus on myself a little bit more, to try to have a little more time to schedule recordings, which to date, since the episode with Tony, I'm sorry to say I haven't been able to schedule a recording with anyone. It's just, when we all have jobs and families and lives outside of this podcast, it's just tough to get people over to record sometimes. And it's like, I try my best, we all do, but this isn't the production value on this podcast just isn't advanced enough to where I have a list of contacts for guests that I can just have on every single week or even every 2 weeks. It's just not tenable right now. Maybe it will be at some point in the future if I can reach out to more people, advertise the podcast more. I'm trying to start the process of building a website for Horror Convos, because I am very new to web design in general. So that's all kind of stuff that I'm having to learn on my own at the moment. Just something I can do to advertise and potentially monetize our content without relying on things like Patreon. So having said all that, what I'm going to do is, for the time being, I am no longer releasing episodes every 2 weeks. I'm just it's going to be a less consistent release schedule, at least for the time being. I apologize for that for anyone who, looks forward to every other Wednesday. I sincerely am sorry, but I feel like if I continue doing that, then the quality of the show is going to suffer, because I feel like I just need more time to arrange for someone to record with, so I'm not under as much pressure to, just come up with something, and they're under less pressure to think about what they might want to talk about. And I've said in the past, anyone who wants to be a guest on the show is welcome. Like, you do not have to be an expert on any horror topics by any means whatsoever, because Lord knows I'm not, and I've never claimed to be. That's not what the point of the show is. It's not about, we have people on, strictly people on who know their stuff and can tell you like a whole bunch of trivia. That's fun to do when we're able to do it, but it's not a requirement. The point of this show is nothing more or less than, do you like horror? Do you have opinions on a specific topic? Would you feel comfortable being recorded and putting those opinions out there for other people to hear? You would. Well, boy, do I have a deal for you then. And I just feel like the quality of episodes will benefit from being a little less rigid about schedules and more about just, okay, I'll work on this stuff at my own pace. When I have something that I think is worth putting out, I'll put it out. When I have been able to, when I'm able to arrange to record with someone and we have a good conversation, I'll put that out. If I have an idea for something else I'd like to do for the show that I think would be fun, and I'll put that out. So I do feel like I need to take a bit of a break from the podcast for it, just temporarily. and focus on what I want to put out next. And I can't tell you exactly when I'll do that. All I can promise is that it will be sometime soon. I do have a recording scheduled in mid-August, so I'm sure that'll come out once it's ready. But apart from that, I kind of need some time to go back to the drawing board with some of these things and just think, what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? And what can I put on the back burner to save for a later date? Because some podcasters, they go for months at a time without releasing an episode. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to do. I don't know exactly how long I'm going to take yet. I just need more than 2 weeks. Thinks, realistically, I can't keep going at that pace and keep up the best possible quality of the episodes while continually trying to improve it. I need some time to work on myself for a little bit so I can put out better stuff for you guys. So with all that in mind, this is the last you're going to hear from me for the next maybe 3 weeks. I honestly can't give you an exact delivery date, but Horror Convos will continue. Again, the show is not, I repeat, not ending. It's just going on a tiny bit of a hiatus, after which releases of new stuff won't be happening as often, but they will still be happening with some consistency of regularity. It might end up being one podcast a month, at least for a while, until I can make more stuff to put out on a more frequent basis that's actually worth listening to or watching, in my mind. And until that time, for the however many of you have followed me, thank you for your support. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss when new stuff comes out. And apparently, I've heard that YouTube has this new rule now. If you don't comment on a video in addition to liking and giving it views, then for some reason the algorithm isn't as likely to promote it. I don't know who the hell on YouTube staff came up with that one. But it is what it is. I'm doing the best I can to try to, get the show out there to more people on like Twitter, Instagram, the Horror Convos Facebook page. I'm planning to try to come up with some kind of advertisement for it on TikTok, maybe. I don't use TikTok generally or Instagram for that matter in my everyday routine, so a lot of that stuff is very new to me. But the way I figure it, best if I want to get more people to listen and potentially take an interest in sharing their opinions on horror with us on the show, then I got to get the word out about Horror Convos any way I can. And to do that, I need more time to focus on advertising on top of, really thinking about what I want to put out for new content, not just going at it with the mindset of, okay, coming up on the deadline now, and every other Wednesday I got to put out something. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something. That's just not a healthy attitude to promote interest in this show. If anything, that's actually going to have the opposite effect. So yeah, just wanted to be honest with you guys, and sorry it took so long for me to upload this. I was very busy today, and I had to think about what I wanted to say, try to think about where I'm going to go from here exactly. So if y'all have any comments or suggestions for what you would like to see from the show or how we can make it better, maybe topics we haven't covered that you'd like to hear more about, please, even if it's just to say hi or like the show, hate the show, your voice is annoying, you need to do a celebrity impression, whatever your thoughts are, or if you just comment on the videos from now on, and anything you can think of, if it doesn't have to be anything important or insightful, that would really help the podcast go up through the ranks of the algorithm, however this new rule works now, and hopefully help build our audience. For those of you who have supported me up to this point, thank you so much. This is not me begging for you guys to help me make the show better. That is my responsibility alone. You guys have not done anything wrong. I'm so grateful for everyone and whoever you are who listens to me. That I definitely appreciate having a platform to do this to begin with. And I hope that what I put out in the future will be just add more onto what I've already done and try to figure out how to continually make it better as I go along. And from my editing skills to what we put in the video, maybe try and come up with a new intro every season or so. Talking about this seasons like it's a TV series. He said, but I want to do better. I don't just want to do more. I'd rather do better than do a lot. I'd rather put out a few quality videos a year than 20, 30 mediocre videos. So, I'm done rambling in circles. That's the way it's going to be. I will let you guys know if anything changes. In the meantime, here is your regular reminder that Horror Convos is available to listen to on YouTube, Spreaker, and Spotify. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and come hang out at the Horror Convos Facebook page to share your thoughts or leave suggestions. And if you want to listen to the podcast ad-free, you can go to patreon.com/horrorconvos. There is content missing from the Patreon page that I haven't put up yet. Again, just with how busy I've been, I've kind of fallen behind on that. I'm going to get on top of that as soon as I can. And as far as putting up all the outtakes that haven't been put up yet, so yeah. And until we talk again, good night, be well. And again, apologies to those of you who might be frustrated hearing this news. I just hope you'll be patient with me so that I can figure out how to make Horror Convos feel like a passion project again. So thank you all very much.